So I've been traveling and I had a couple of realizations that I just really wanted to share. I just spent 5 days with the least amount of technology I've interacted with for probably several years at this point. I took some time away from my job, took time away from every meeting and every obligation, just to be and sit with nature and to reflect and think for myself. And I uninstalled all of my social media apps for several of those days. And I felt more at peace and more in tune with what I like and what I enjoy than I ever have, probably for most of my life. And in many ways, being away from technology was extremely therapeutic. I felt that my mind, my body, my intuition was free and wasn't being hijacked by doom scrolling, and I really loved it. I had so many realizations, and I was just journaling and writing and planning and creating without judging myself. And I realized how rare it is that we spend time fully with ourselves, with our own internal experiences. Today, on the very last day of my trip, I reinstalled Instagram, reinstalled X or Twitter, just to message and see what was going on with people that I normally interact with. And within maybe about an hour of having Instagram back, I felt miserable. I was seeing all of these people enjoy their lives in ways that I felt like I wasn't, and I couldn't help but compare my experience to them. And it felt so easy to just get lost in all of the lives and all of the experiences that you're not having, that it feels like everybody else is simultaneously having. You know, social media has become more than just the highlight reel of one person, but the explore pages, the For You pages are the highlights of the highlights, right? They're the best of the best highlights of all people who post. And that's so incredibly insane. I feel like when you see that type of content, you tend to forget that people are just putting up an image, and oftentimes you feel terrible for not living and experiencing the lives that these people are celebrating and like showing off, forgetting that a lot of times they might also be not super satisfied. And even if you were to trade lives, you might not be as happy as you could be now if you were just present and enjoying and trying to make the most of your actual life. Now, none of this is particularly groundbreaking, right? Like, this is just my experience. But these are things that we've been talking about for a decade. How damaging social media is, especially now that all social media is available so easily on your phone and you take it everywhere with you and you can't escape it. It's always sucking your attention so long as you have it. What's worse is I'm super interested in creating content, so I like learning about the content that other people are making. And at the same time, I'm trapped in this vortex of like wanting to learn how to create, but then as a result, becoming a consumer of social media content. And it's the consumption without being mindful that I just hate. Like, I wish I could curate a social media where it was like only showing pet videos and certain comedians and certain like business topics. Then I would feel like actually maybe I could curate something that I could enjoy for a little bit. But even then, like, all of the video lengths are so short that your attention span gets hijacked. And then when you go back to things that need a little bit more time and attention and patience, it's so hard to just stay mindful and be patient and take your time with everything, because you're always trying to find the next thing and get the next quick fix. So because you're so used to being stimulated at a much more accelerated rate. So I've come to the realization that my goal at this point is to remove as much social media as possible from my phone so that I can just consume it intentionally, ideally at a computer, and even then have it pretty limited. And importantly, curate it so that I'm intentionally engaging with it and focusing on things that I want to see and feel. And it is very difficult. One of the things that I'm finding is that so many of my friends contact me on different platforms, right? There's not only text messaging, which is perfectly fine and is regular, but what about Facebook? What about Instagram? What about WhatsApp and even LinkedIn? I mean, all of these platforms are just taking features from each other and just becoming more and more like each other, right? Like they're all including video and short form and stories so that they can all feel more and more homogenized. And I just really, I hate that. There's so much research that talks about how damaging social media, especially on phones, has been for Gen Z and for future generations who aren't able to escape the conditioning that such easy access to these platforms places on them, including Jonathan Haidt's excellent book, The Anxious Generation. There's just so much literature out there, and psychology and science is just rife with more and more evidence as to why this is all damaging for our attention span, even for our mental health, ability to stay present and engage with other people and be connected with other people. I mean, we are literally going out into beautiful places into the world and everybody's on their phones. It feels like we have completely submitted to that reality. Like we've just given up, you know? It's like, we understand that like it kind of sucks, but it's like, oh, you know, what are you gonna do? Like that's just how everybody is now. And I just hate that. I hate that because everybody's so incredibly lonely. Everybody's also miserable because they're watching social media about lives that they don't have instead of loving and maybe even creating the lives that they want, and they feel lonelier and more disconnected even though everybody is around them. We don't have a shortage of people in the world, and we've lost, I feel, the ability to connect, to be present, to be engaged, to really be vulnerable with each other and to share these small experiences even in public that could lead into unexpected friendships and other future interactions and make us feel more connected with the world. There's even research suggesting that people who say hi to a stranger when you're just passing by and who don't even get acknowledgement actually feel so much more disconnected and lonely in the world than they did before, just from an interaction with a stranger that isn't reciprocated, and that is so incredibly common. And so I'm so frustrated with social media and distractions and comparison that is accessible everywhere. And I know the science. I also love studying psychology. And what I'm hoping to do is to take all these realizations that are kind of like hitting me face front right now and try to put it into practice, right? And so I'm gonna spend the next weeks, the next months, potentially the next year or more trying to figure out what it is that I can do about my relationship with technology, with my phone, with social media, that I can curb, which is especially difficult because once again, I'm super interested in creating content, but I want to do so in a way that doesn't make me a mindless consumer. It makes me present, it makes me engaged, makes me intentional, whether it's responding to messages or comments. But I want to stop living in envy of lives that are quite frankly livable in my life and start actually living my life instead of being hooked to this thing where I'm wasting all of my time, my inspiration, my excitement, my energy, my attention, my potential, just to see content that honestly, I can't even remember at the end of the day, outside of like certain cute pet otter videos and cat memes, which quite frankly aren't even worth sacrificing all of that time for. Because quite frankly, most of the content is irrelevant. And there's better things to do in the real world if you just try and look for it. I don't know, this is just mainly a rant video, and this will be the beginning of me trying to figure out what is this relationship with technology that we have, and see if I can't find ways to curtail how I use social media and my phone. And hopefully I'll be able to share some of those updates with you guys. Thanks for sitting with me on this rant. Subscribe to the channel. I'm a coach. I talk about psychology, growth, change, and transformation. And I'd love to share more of my stories, the things I know and learn in my experiments for my own life with you. Peace.